What is it this morning? Today is what? Wednesday today. Beautiful morning. So I'm just enjoying this beautiful day as I'm on a busy intersection of the road this morning. So I'm just kind of just enjoying these few hours. I'm gonna stop at my Wednesday morning job that I do. So I'm actually going to run there. So what I've been doing every Wednesday, I have a volunteer service that I do. So I just run over there and help out. So by the time I get there, I'll be around 17 miles. And I will just help out and finish the run from there. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do today. Heading towards this place. So by the time, excuse my French. So by the time I get there, it's actually I'm at mile 18 or so. So I just finished. I just finished the last couple of miles. So that's what I've been doing every Wednesday. I'm in the beautiful side again. I always like coming to different nice areas. A little cooler this morning here in Georgia. So as you can see, most people are either at work or at their destination already. So at the moment my life is just on a different route. I miss those being in the office days also. But I think sometimes life takes you on a different mission, and it depends on the individual to actually notice it. And once you notice that different mission, it is very easy to actually participate in it, because you don't want to be in a situation where you say, I wish I had. And those are very painful situation to be in, to say I wish I had. Sometimes we got to let go of our fear and just branch out on our own. Fear of the unknown is stopping a lot of people from being who they are and achieving what they're meant to achieve. Sometimes going on that lonely journey is what is actually going to get some people to their destination. And a lot of times that lonely journey is just, you see just trees, and that's just about it. That's all you see, trees, and that's just about it. You don't know where the destination is, you don't know where you're going. But sometimes it is actually important to just follow that direction. That empty space, that beautiful trail of life that has no ending, when all you see is just the sky dropping on top of you, is sometimes your journey to whatever it is that you want to do. But of course, sometimes our society make that impossible for us. We are so afraid of being alone that we would rather be miserable and be very upset with our lives just to be around people. And what usually happens is, at the end of our days, we always end up accumulating diseases, sickness, stressing out, anxiety, all those things. All those things. But but once you learn those things, you realize that, okay, it isn't worth it. So whatever it is that you want to do, that you want to branch out to do, listen to that voice. That voice that is telling you to do something that you're extremely afraid of. Listen to it. That voice that is actually telling you right now, there is something that you wanted to do, but you're so afraid of what the outcome would be. And many are so afraid of the outcome of what their subconscious mind is telling them to do, they would rather be mad and angry. And what that does, we look for excuse and we talk about how the world is a cruel place, when in reality, what makes it cruel was the fact that we did not follow our subconscious mind. We did not listen. We refuse. We are so afraid of ourselves. Most people don't even believe in themselves. We are so afraid. Many of the things that happen to us, we see the sign. I'm once upon a time guilty of it, but we just refused. We refused just because we want to be among people, friends, family, and does your happiness really worth the glory that people give you? You're one of us. That's the question God asks ourselves. And in many cases, no. You are better off being called weirdo, all type of names. You're better off people not speaking to you than losing your mental health, your peace of mind. It just doesn't worth it. And I think that's the thing right there. And that's the reason why when you look at the social media, beautiful platform, all these things, we always want to do the same thing. We think because so is doing it, we got to do it. A lot of time, that ain't your journey. It's funny to me, the last 10, 12 years, I have really listened to my subconscious mind a lot. Because after many, many years of isolation and going out in the woods, just running and getting lost, and finding my way via my subconscious mind in those woods, I've learned how to listen to myself more. Sometimes I come out selfish because I listen to my heart. I followed what's in my head, regardless of what it takes me. And the only thing that it has given me that I never thought I would have is a lot of laughter. That's what this journey has given me. A lot of laughter. Because the more I spend time on myself, the more I'm able to think about everything that I've been afraid of my whole entire life. And I'm able to just say to myself, okay, Brother Eric, good morning. I am going to just do this. So like this new thing that I'm doing where I just get up and run a marathon every day, I'm just really dedicated to it. I don't know where it's taking me, but it's probably one of the most beautiful things that I've ever done in my whole entire life. It's just being on that feet. And I got to meditate a lot. 4090. I got to Google the meaning of that number because that number caught my attention. I use a lot of numerology. Every time I see a number that really caught my attention, I always Google it and see what it meant. And it just kind of gives you a direction of where the thing is, whatever it is that you're going in life. So for me, the direction that I've taken, I've upset a lot of people. And most of the time I say I'm sorry. Especially my families and my friends. They don't even talk to me though because I just live this life like a bird. I just get up and I stretch and do push-up and read and go for a run. It's just, I would not even talk to me many years ago for doing that. I would literally think there's something wrong. But I begin to get it right now. It's just like that peace that it is really amazing. And just knowing in the back of your head that, oh, everything is going to work out fine. And I think that is a very, very hard stage to come by. You know, that to believe everything is going to be okay. And there's rocks flying on top of you. It's just like a cloud. There's a hurricane. Things are moving everywhere. And just standing there saying, well, it's going to be okay, we'll stop. It just doesn't make sense because a lot of time we have not built our brain to have that type of brain. So I get the scariness. I mean, sometimes I look at some of my friends, I'm like, dude, chill. You're not the one who's going through this. Why are you so angry? And I realize a lot of time is because people are just angry because not having faith. Morning, sir. You know, it just kind of just, you know, when someone else practices it, is a different ballgame. And for me, it also comes down to another thing too, where I always talk about unconscious bias. And that unconscious bias has a lot to do with the guy with the brown skin, where people just do not look at you and see that you could be spiritually disciplined. If somebody that looks like me doesn't do things in a Christian mannerism and quote the scriptures and wear a suit, it's almost like he doesn't understand the true meaning of consciousness. But the truth is, I can guarantee you this, most of these deacons, the ministers, because first of all, a lot of them eat too much. So it's not intentional, it's because we are taught, we replace our spiritual consciousness with food instead of breathing. So that's what many of us understood. And what too much food, too much alcohol, which we consume on a regular in our culture, which most people do not know what it feels like to go 6 months without alcohol in their system. So what those things does to you, they really block your senses. But I think as long as we live in one of these houses right here, we automatically presumed that it is okay to do those things, and they don't have nothing to do with your spiritual connection. So your spiritual, how do I say this? Your spiritual well-being is totally different from your financial well-being. So we mix those two together, and that's why we're very shocked most of the time. But the whole thing about one having peace, finding peace and joy, quality of life and enjoying this life, and handling one emotion has nothing to do with the material entity that we so acclaim. Because these days, it doesn't matter where it is, all you have to do is wear a certain uniform, and you could talk anything you want and just to play on people's emotion. And I think if we want this world to become a better place, it is time we start telling ourselves the truth. Because when we learn how to tell the truth to ourselves, we can tell others the truth. We've heard stories about this whole universe, the fighting, this. It is time that we all realize that there's no such thing as someone being your leader. The only leader there is that inner voice that you have that one refuses to listen to. So that's what I'm sort of thinking of this morning. Like I said earlier, I'm on my way to my volunteer duty this morning. I've been doing it during the marathon, so by the time I get there, I'll be like mile 16 or 18. So I'll help out and keep it going. And other than that, that's just my thought of the day, is to not be afraid to be alone. Walk that path. The whole thing behind this thing called consciousness and all that. We're very good at talking about it, but to practice that thing is absolutely difficult. It is something, it requires a discipline that I can't even comprehend. And I'm just saying this based on experience. That's why I haven't been able to go to a yoga class or run with a running group, because the discipline that comes with this, especially if you have to get up every day and do 26 miles, it's just basically understanding spirituality, God, or whatever you want to call it. Let me say this one more thing, is simple. Self-honesty. That's it. Self-honesty. You have to be able to write down things that you cannot share with nobody. Self-honesty, what that good about. And I will say this, if you're left-handed, write it down with your right hand. If you're right-handed, trying to write it down with your left hand. Because what it will do, your opposite hand, once you focus on it, that's how you begin to understand meditation. So, let me go ahead, finish this beautiful day of my 26-mile journey, and I'm going to say is it Wednesday today? It is Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, and one love.